Once again, you are welcome to this YouTube channel. And the topic we are considering here is quadratic equation. This quadratic equation will be done in two. We have quadratic equation 1 and quadratic equation 2. In quadratic equation 1, we are going to talk about different methods, and the continuation will be in quadratic equation 2. So the methods under quadratic equations are factorization method, completing the square method, use of algebraic formula method, and graphical method. In this quadratic equation 1, we only do factorization, completing the square, and algebraic formula. The use of formula or graphical method will be considered in quadratic equation 2. I want you to relax as we proceed. Factorization method. One thing I want you to know first in quadratic is the formula for quadratic is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Your a can be negative, your b can be negative, your c can be negative, and all of them can be plus. In this case, a is positive, b is positive, and c is negative. But in use of factorization method, there are many ways, there are many styles by which factorization method can be done. But I want you to look at this, my method, because I consider this style very easy and straightforward. I will multiply this and this together, so it will give me minus 24x squared. This minus 24x squared, I want to split it into 2 in such a way that the 2 split, if I multiply, I will get minus 24x squared. And if I add the 2 together, I will get plus 2x. So I haven't thought of different ways. I can think of 2 and minus 12, 6 and 4, minus 4 and 6. Then I say that, oh, minus 4 and 6 will work. If I use minus 6 and 4, it will not work. Minus 4 and 6 will, because minus 4 and 6, if I multiply, I get minus 24. If I add them together, I get 2. So I think minus 4 and 6 will work. So it will be minus 4x and 6x. The other doesn't matter. If you have 6x, the first part, the other one minus 4x, it doesn't matter. You get the same correct answer. Now, so I will remove 2x from the original question and replace with minus 4x plus 6x thus. So I will just factorize. You know, to factorize, you can factorize them in pair. 2x squared minus 4x, you factorize them separately. 6x minus 12, you factorize that one also separately. So it will be like this: 2x bracket x minus 2 close bracket plus 6 bracket x minus 2. I don't want to take more time in this because we have done factorization before, and if you have challenge in the way I factorize this, go and watch the previous video on factorization. Now, the next thing to do, I will pick these 2x and also I will pick this plus 6 and put them together thus. So I have 2x plus 6, then x minus 2. You know, that one is identical behind 2x and behind 6. So I will just pick only one. So 2x plus 6 and x minus 2. The next method now is completing the square. Completing the square is more technical, and I see completing the square as the best method of finding quadratic equation. Why do I say it's the best method? With the sound knowledge of completing the square, you can have an idea of how your curve will look like without drawing table. Another thing I will say, with the knowledge of completing the square, you can know the vertex or turning point. I will say by the time I get to the particular stage of this particular question, so I'm still using the same question. And in this question, if you look at x squared, the coefficient of x squared is 2. This is the first thing I want you to note in completing the square. When the coefficient of x squared is more than 1, you first of all divide through by the coefficient of x squared. Now, in this case, the coefficient of x squared is 2. So I'll first of all divide through by 2. Then I have this. Then I take 6 to the other side. But I want you to note that in case the coefficient of x squared is 1, like this stage, you will start from here. Like, you don't need to divide through. When the equation is like this, you just continue from here. So take 6 to the other side. Then half of the coefficient of x. You know, we have x squared, we have x, and we have the constant. So the half of 1 is half. So you square half. So square of half is half square. You add it to both sides. Now, in this place, you are not supposed to write this one, but I want to advise that you write this stage. When you master it very well, you don't need to write this. What will you do? You know, I have x squared and I have half square. Just say that x, take half, put it together and square them together. Then what you have at the right hand side. But before you master, I want to advise that you first of all do that step. Don't ignore it. But by the time you've mastered, you don't need to write down one. And if what I have there is minus x, half of the coefficient will be minus half. Then proceed from here. So we just try to solve it. Half square is equal to 1/4. Then I solve it further. Then I have x plus half all square is equal to 25/4. The next thing I will do here is like I will take 25/4 back to the other side of the equal sign. So that will give me x plus half all square minus 25/4. I can have is equal to 0. Then remember that when I started, I divided everything by 2. So that 2 that you divided with, you don't need to throw it away. It's not a waste. No, it's not that you have deleted it or you have thrown it away. So that 2, I'm using 2 to multiply through because I've divided the original question with 2. I will have, by the time I open this bracket with 2, I have 2 brackets x plus half square minus 25/2. There is something I want you to know at this stage. One of the uniqueness of completing the square. If the question says you should write your answer in a particular format, you want to write your answer like this: a bracket x minus h all square plus k. Then it means that this stage you have is where you just stop here. That's your final answer. But if they ask you that what is the vertex or turning point, when you have this format, a bracket x minus h all square plus k, if you inside that bracket is x minus h, so the vertex here is h comma k. But if this thing is x plus h, your vertex will be minus h comma k. Now in this question, what is our vertex? I want you to try it. What do you think is the vertex of this our solution here? Okay, let me tell you. The vertex of this will be minus half and comma minus 25/2. That is the vertex or turning point for this level where we are. But if the question says that you should solve, you need to proceed from here. So you will have x plus half all square is equal to 25/4. Then you find the square root of both sides. Then you know square root cancel 2. Then square root of 25/4. When you get to this level, it means two things. That is, x plus half is equal to plus 5/2, or x plus half is equal to minus 5/2. You know, when you say plus 5/2 or 5/2, they are the same thing. So you have this. It's either plus 5/2 or simply 5/2, or x is plus half is equal to minus 5/2. Then I solve the left side. I take half to the other side, become minus half. So here I get x equal to 2. Then from this other side, I take plus half to the other side, which is minus half. Here I get s is equal to 3. So the answer is s is equal to 2 or minus 3. Note, irrespective of any method you use for quadratic equation, you are supposed to get the same answer. Algebraic method. In algebraic method, I'm using the same question as well. Then this is the format I set for quadratic equation generally. Y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. In this question, a is equal to 2, b is equal to 2, while c is equal to minus 12. You know, when I say it's equal to 2, I mean a is equal to plus 2. Whether you write plus 2 or 2 is the same thing. If b is equal to 2, whether b is equal to plus 2 or 2 is the same thing. While c is equal to minus 12. So this is the formula for quadratic. The formula is minus b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. That is the formula. So what we do, this formula, I see this method as a lazy method, because you just plug in. Where you have b, put 2 there. Where you have a, put 2 there. Where you have c, put minus 12 there. Then you are good to go. So I want to plug in now. I just plug in. So I have minus 2 plus or minus square root of 2 square minus 4 multiplied by 2, then multiplied by minus 12 all over 2 multiplied by 2. Then I can have this. Then if I solve this one further, I have this. Then as I solve it further, I have this. I can see for the square root of 100 is 10. So plus minus 2 plus minus 10 all over 4. When you get to this level, this thing means it means either minus 2 plus 10 all over 4 or minus 2 minus 10 all over 4. Thus, minus 2 plus 10 over 4 or minus 2 minus 10 all over 4. So when I solve the one at the left, x is equal to 2. When I solve the one at the right, x is equal to minus 3. This is how far we will go in this topic. We continue in quadratic equation 2, where that will basically focus on graphical method.